WTOL-TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Just another day on the job for a YMCA worker.
Until she came across this.
Were set up and students were painting welcome signs.
It wasn't quite the thrill of the open road, more like the parking lot of Perrysburg Commons.
It will make its debut.
Just about the only event making news today. 2,000 carryout orders were handled.
Welcome to the WTOL 11 Vault. I'm Dan Cummins. Turning back the clock to 1989 when Toledo 11 reporters traded in their microphones for flashlights and went searching for things that go bump in the night. It was the same year moviegoers were watching Pet Sematary, Friday the 13th, Part 8, and Ghostbusters 2. And right here in Northwest Ohio, our news team was chasing real ghost stories of their own. This is Haunted Northwest Ohio inside the WTOL 11 Vault. Oh, this is going to be fun tonight. I want to welcome my friend and colleague here on the WTOL 11 Vault, Jeff Smith. And Jeff, we're talking real-life haunted houses. Have you been taking your family to a specter or a ghost house?
You know, we have never been freaked out by any of these ghost houses. However, I do still get up in the middle of the night when I hear things go bump.
Oh, we all do. We all do. That's why I keep my trusty 6-iron under the bed because no, I can't hit it very well.
Just be warned. You've been warned.
Well, the Collingwood Arts Center in Toledo's Old West End is one of the most well-known, supposedly haunted places in Toledo. And Evan Rosen took us inside one back on October 29th, 1989.
Welcome, if you dare to join the bats who live in this old West End mansion. It also has housed all kinds of residents since the turn of the century. This is a former college and former convent. Now the Collingwood Arts Center has moved in. Painters and musicians live here, but others may live here too, if only in spirit.
I know that there are spirits in the building.
That's the maintenance man talking. We'll meet him later. First, let's explore the building he believes is haunted. This is Gerber House, the oldest, spookiest part of the Collingwood Arts Center. A merchant named Christian Gerber made this his home over 100 years ago, before he went bankrupt. But since then, legend has it, spirits have moved in. One is called the Woman in the Wedding Dress, and resident artist Mark Brownfield has seen her.
I was here eating dinner. All four of us look in the same direction to see the ghost. We see her standing approximately here in a wedding gown, doing nothing, just standing. We all four at dinner look at each other, turn back again to look to see if she was here. She was gone.
Ghosts do that around here. They appear and disappear without using doors, and there's plenty of space for spirits to spread out, more than 250 rooms.
Well, I ain't superstitious.
Lori Swires may sing about spirits, but she takes them seriously. Lori rents a studio here, and she often shows up at odd hours to practice or just explore.
It was a storage area, an attic area. That's very frightening to me, and it's not populated up there. It's cold, and it's just a great place to be haunted.
Boy, is she right. In the attic is the dome that covers the auditorium downstairs, an auditorium many avoid after midnight. I'm sitting in seat N13 of the Collingwood Arts Center auditorium. It is in this seat each night that the image of a nun appears. Those who have seen her say she shows up sometime between midnight and 2 in the morning, moves around the room, then vanishes. In this room, sometimes the eyes deceive, or do they? The maintenance man is brave enough to visit the auditorium after midnight, but Frank Kostick refuses to sit in seat N13.
It's respect. I feel that maybe that's their spot. It's kind of like when you go camping, you have your favorite spot, maybe that's her resting place at night.
Yes, the residents of this mansion, this landmark, live in peace with the building's oldest occupants. So far, the ghosts have not hurt anyone, and the artists have stayed out of the spirit's way. Chances are the ghosts will outlast any earthly beings in this chilly, spooky dwelling many say is haunted. Evan Rosen, Toledo 11 News.
That's a long piece for 1989.
It really is.
You know? And I'm assuming the news director was like, we'll give you a little extra time on this one.
Well, it's pretty creative. The Collingwood Arts Center is still kind of a thing, right, with the ghosts and everything?
Yeah. Well, with the ghosts, I don't know.
It's funny. People ask me, do you believe in ghosts? And I go, you know what? It's kind of like UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they're real. I don't know that they're not real. So I'll just leave it open-minded with the whole thing, right?
You can go with that. From the Old West End to the haunted house of Fremont.
November 5th, 1989, it stood vacant. It had been empty for some 3 decades, and Julie Malkin takes us inside.
It looms up out of the brush and brambles, a silent sentinel standing guard atop this hill for over 100 years. Many know it simply as the haunted house of Fremont.
Obviously, the house has that kind of an aura, and being vacant now for some probably 30 to 35 years, I think that adds to it. It could even trace back to the beginning of the construction of the house. The fellow who built it died before he got it completed and never lived in it, and his wife died a short time afterwards, so the two of them never got to enjoy his labors.
To generations of residents growing up nearby, it's been rumored as the home for all sorts of ghosts and spirits. Even the local JCs have used it as their annual haunted house. Just the Gothic appearance alone has attracted the attention of strangers.
We've had people from all over Ohio and literally all over the country that have stopped by and either talked to me while I'm working or made contact with our local Chamber of Commerce to try to find out the history of the house.
18 years ago, Don and Sally Harlan bought the weathered brick mansion. Now they're restoring it for their home, discovering the beauty and the spirits resting below layers of dust, cobwebs, and graffiti.
We kind of think of the house as having a female persona. I'm not sure why we arrived at that, but we did. And we kind of think of it as the grand old lady of the East Side, and we're trying to save her life.
Even though the first owner, Peter Brunthaver, began building the home in 1885, only one family has ever lived in this place with its soaring ceilings.
The ceilings are over 10 feet high, and the doorways are over 7 feet high, and that is rather peculiar for as old as the house is, I feel. That was one of the high points of the house, is all of the butternut and walnut and cherry woodwork in throughout the house. And it's sustained a lot of damage, but we intend to restore all of that as near original as possible.
Whether or not you believe in ghosts, being around the empty, lonely house, you feel you're not alone, that someone else is watching you, or at least watching over your shoulder.
That is a feeling that's pretty hard to not have in that house. I'm not saying that I believe that there's a ghost in there, but there's kind of an aura that really, it feels like somebody maybe is almost giving you a little pat on the back because you're putting it back into shape.
Just let your imagination run loose here in this house of great dreams, and it's possible to believe. Well, maybe it could happen. In the haunted house of Fremont. Julie Malkin, Toledo 11 News, Fremont.
That's a great ending. All right, could you spend a night in that place?
No.
I couldn't either. I don't either. I don't like to be scared.
But I think it's one of those things too. I mean, you've had, I don't know if you grew up in a town where there were vacant homes and you had friends who would dare you to go up and look in the windows, run through the house if it was vacant. And I mean, I think it's the thing of legends, whether it's actually haunted or not, it's the stories that keep it in your mind, and you think it could be real.
Yeah, you go in this house and you...
Did you hear that?
Someone's watching us. You feel it. It's all in your mind, probably. I don't know.
Well, we are turning now to a place that is listed actually on the National Registry of Historic Places. From an inn, the restaurant, Amy Marsalis explores the Colombian House, which was in Waterville.
For over 160 years, the Colombian House has played host to travelers from all walks of life, or maybe even an afterlife. For years, psychics have said the place is haunted, and there are many incidents that can't be easily explained. But those who work and live here take it all in stride and high spirits.
First time my glasses went floating through the air, I said that. I knew there was something strange. I mean, it was... something had to be doing it, say.
Listed on the National Registry of Historic Places, this Waterville restaurant has always had a rich and colorful history. Owner Jackie Arnold, who lives here, thinks that just adds to the haunted legacy.
It was built as an inn. There have been deaths here. There have been murders. I think it's just the presence and of energies that have been here. And that's about the only explanation I have. I'm not an expert on psychic phenomena.
Built as a stagecoach stop in 1828, the Colombian House served as a trading post, community center, tavern, and inn. Psychics say the spirits present are from decades ago, ranging from a bookkeeper named Martin to a young girl named Julia who killed her stepbrother here.
Psychics who have come to the Colombian House all seem to get bad vibes when they walk into this bedroom in the house. They're not sure what may have happened here many years ago.
Waitress Delphine Herndon never believed in ghosts before working at the Colombian House. Now she says the friendly spirits have gone home with her and played pranks.
Then my daughter went to bed, okay, and all of a sudden I heard this big, "Mom!" I come running there, said, "What's the matter?" She says, "There's somebody calling you on the stereo. There's a man talking to you on the stereo." I said, "Yes." And all of a sudden I heard my name being called through the stereo. And he was saying something, but I could not understand him because I guess it was like the language was a little bit different, and through a stereo thing, I could not understand what he was trying to tell me, okay? So I told her, I said, "Just shut the stereo off and go in the other room to sleep." So she says, "Mom, it is off, it's not on."
Walking through the halls, you feel not only a sense of history, but a sense of another presence. It just adds to the experience of visiting the Colombian House. Amy Marsalis, Toledo 11 News in Waterville.
Which I was telling you is still standing today. And it's gone through a number of lifetimes on what it was, but the whole stereo thing and saying she couldn't understand what he was saying, he was probably like, "Breaker, breaker, 19." It's probably picking up traffic from 24.
What's funny is all these stories, there's so many locations in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan that have these haunted histories.
Right, right. Well, Dan, I'll tell you what, we know, grew up in Illinois, small town Illinois. What kind of ghost stories were there?
There were about 2 blocks from where I was raised, down the street. There was an old house, similar to what we saw a couple stories ago, just an old abandoned house, big, stately house that had just been sitting there for years and years and years closed.
Was there a murder there?
I don't know about a murder. I don't know. But what was funny, when I left for college, eventually someone bought the house and they fixed it up. And to this day, this has been like 30, 40 years ago, there's been a family living there, or a family living in that home for a long, long time. It's just an old house. It was updated. You know, there's so many buildings now that are renovated and look great. The history of them, the great wood in construction, and it's been sitting there.
But if that wood could talk.
I know. I don't know of any stories of it being haunted, but the neighborhood kids, like, you know, you're just afraid to go by the house at night and stuff because it's this old type place.
Just creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, in Elmore, there's a story of a veteran who lost his head and still wanted revenge on November 19th, 1989. So at that time, we sent Dick Berry to find out.
Elmore, Ohio. Living population, about 1,300. As for the resident ghosts, well, it all depends on who you talk to. Grace Lupke is the local librarian, and she's heard plenty about some high-spirited happenings.
I sure wouldn't want to say that this is a hangout for ghosts. I mean, it's a nice town.
But Elmore's most famous ghost story begins right here on Slimmer Portage Road. It's the story of lost love and a lost head.
This young man was in the First World War and had been engaged to be married to a girl who lived on this road. And when he came home from the war, he went to see her and found to his dismay and consternation that she was engaged to someone else.
Which really upset him, just made him furious. Left her house, you know, nice old farmhouse, got on his motorcycle, and rode away. As he went across the bridge, he lost control of the motorcycle, went through the side of the bridge. And then when they recovered the body, they found the whole body except his head. And they found the motorcycle, but the light off the motorcycle was missing.
Thus, the legend of the headless motorcyclist was born. For years, the story has been in this farming area that if a certain signal is given, a light from the bike appears, and the ghost crosses the bridge once again.
One of the girls who works in the library went with her mom and I guess just the two of them. And she said as many times as we've gone there and tried to see this, this is the first time it has ever happened.
Over 20 years ago, Sergeant Richard Gill and a friend also saw it.
And it started moving down the driveway and made a cut toward us, and I flat floored my car. I was really petrified at this point. And I'm heading down toward the bridge, and I'm watching in the rearview mirror, and I could see the light, and it was gaining on us. And just before we hit the bridge, it went almost like a flash bulb. It went right through the center of the car. It went to the center of the bridge and disappeared.
Gil and Grace, like so many others, have no explanation for it.
I don't know. We don't know. I have yet to find concrete evidence of this accident happening, but I do believe that there certainly is something going on that road.
It's possible the cemetery may be the final resting spot for the young motorcyclist. Many believe, though, his restless spirit continues to ride the back roads of Ottawa County. Now that you've seen our story, what do you think? Dick Berry, Toledo 11 News, Elmore.
Wow, recreating video back in the day.
I was imagining how they had probably a back door of the car open and they had the big camera hanging out trying to get those moving motorcycle shots.
Yeah, back in that era, you have no idea how difficult those shots were.
How dangerous.
To get the shots from the side.
Yeah.
That was great.
A real Ichabod Crane story right there.
Oh, we've seen a lot of stories. Have you ever seen a ghost?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I've heard a few bumps in the night though. But that's about the extent.
I think we talked the last time we did one of these specials, and I remember cousins, and we would want to play with the Ouija board set when we would get together for the holidays. But I never saw anything.
Well, Toledo 11's Bruce LaShan went out looking for the spirits hanging around the Chadwick Inn in Maumee back in 1989.
It's been called many things, but the Chadwick Inn has stood since 1836 on this spot in Maumee, standing guard over River Road, guarding the lives and the spirits inside.
It started out as the commercial building where it was a series of shops. The local public room or tavern as we know it today was here, the post office. There was a ballroom here for all of the local gala events going on the third floor, as well as a hotel.
While it now enjoys life as a restaurant and tavern, the Chadwick Inn also plays host to a colorful past. It's a place where spirits are not only the drinks, that are served.
Yeah, I touched each little burner handle and made sure they were turned completely off. They were already off when I walked in, but I touched each handle anyway, you know, just to make sure they were all the way turned off. And when we came back in, it was a total high flame, not a partial flame or a pilot or anything.
No, I'm downstairs working and I hear, and it just clicks off. The light just goes out. Now it'll be one set of lights on, but it's just one little light over top of me, and that's my incident.
We affectionately call him Levi, and we feel that he's a good spirit as opposed to an evil one. And all those things seem to be moved around and certain things come up missing. We don't feel that he's doing us any harm.
The mischievous spirit is named after the inn's builder, Levi Beebe. Walk up the stairs, that's where most of Levi's activities seem to be, especially if you dare to venture to the third floor.
The upstairs was destroyed in a fire in 1975, and nothing really has been done with it. It's pretty much a mess. And like all ghosts, we always look in an old building in a bad area for him to live, and this is where we say that Levi actually lives.
In these dark and spooky rooms, there may also be darker spirits, those of two murder victims.
Owner came upstairs and found his wife with another person in bed, and proceeded to kill his wife and the other person as well as himself, and it was in this area.
It's on the second floor, though, that Levi had a busy evening after owner Jim Hudlick arranged the room and left.
And it was all set up and all with china and chairs all set in place and set up perfect for a wedding reception. I came in and there were several chairs moved over in this area and some more moved over in here. Then I came over into this area and there were two chairs sitting here on the edge of the corner like this, as if two people were sitting down here, and there was a bottle of Jack Daniels and two glasses as if they were having a drink.
The Chadwick Inn has survived over 150 years, making it through fires, tornadoes, and hard financial times. Now, as it settles into better days, life here seems to calm the restless spirit of Levi.
And we've taken so much care and effort into restoring this building, and I think he's real peaceful with what's going on right now. So I feel that he's a real peaceful ghost.
So, if you stop by the Chadwick Inn, raise a glass to Levi. He might even raise one to you. Bruce Lachey, Toledo 11 News, Maumee.
A lot of clever stories there we saw.
Absolutely. From the haunted halls of Toledo's Collingwood Arts Center to the mysterious headless motorcyclist of Elmore, these are the eerie tales that had viewers sleeping with the lights on in '89.
You heard about Fremont's haunted house and Maumee's ghostly inn. All stories decades old, but with chills that still feel close to home. For Jeff Smith and all of us here at WTOL 11, I'm Dan Cummins. Thanks for joining us on this haunted trip through Toledo's past. We leave you with this. It's 1986, and it takes a special talent to make sure the dead are properly remembered. Here's Steve Hartman.
This is Jamie Walker's daily ritual.
To enjoy a little bit of a look back at who went before us.
He visits more than 500 graveyards a year, and even when he's out of town on vacation, he'll grab the wife and kids for a visit with the past.
I feel that it's better even than looking at a guidebook to tell you what the town was all about. It can tell you about the history of the town, where the people came from, what they were all about.
But Walker is even more interested in the marble markers. What they say, how they say it, the craftsmanship. He calls tombstones the spirit of the dead, and that's his life. You see, the Walker family has been in the grave marker business 150 years. They've carved markers for Presidents McKinley and Hayes, and today Lloyd Brothers Walker is one of only 5 companies in the U.S. that still carve in stone by hand. 8 hours a day, hunched over a slab of marble that weighs more than some elephants, Ed Bond carves. Grain by grain, he flattens out tiny bumps that he knows no one will ever notice, but he does it anyway.
It came to a point where I didn't want to do something that an average person would do. I wanted to do something that I thought was really important.
Bond also visits graveyards on vacation or just on his way home from work. He says it makes him feel good to know that the memories go on even after death, and that he's a part of it all. Steve Hartman, Toledo 11 News.